Well, hello my fellow adventurers, and welcome back to Living the Grand Adventure. Kevin here. Today I do have a video that's been actually specifically requested by one of my subscribers, Mr. Droot, I believe is how you say your last name, Jack, first name. He did request a video kind of detailing my cook system, which I have right here, that I've been using on trail basically for about a year now. And he has a trip coming up at the beginning of September, and he's looking to lighten his load and was just kind of curious as to the system I actually use. So I'm going to go over what's in here, inside the pot here, and what I actually use, and we'll go ahead and boil up a cup of tea so you can see how it actually acts in real world situations. So basically, you know, I use these two hair ties, just little used hair ties that my daughters and my wife use, and I figure I'd just go ahead and borrow those. I mean, you know, this one's kind of in bad shape, so. But this is the Toaks 650 milliliter pot. Comes with a nice lid that has the slot right here. We'll take a little bit closer look at this here in just a moment, but you know, and inside of it I do have basically just a little cloth to dry it out with. That way it isn't wet when I stow it away on trail. This is my windscreen. This is a Toaks Titanium windscreen. It weighs next to nothing. We'll weigh everything out real quick too, so you can kind of get an idea if this is something you might like to have. This is actually one that is actually much taller. It's about this tall. I cut it down because I didn't need anything that big. Also, I have, of course, a mini BIC lighter. This I'll explain to you here in a moment. It is just a pair of toenail clippers, but I'll show you what I use these for here in just a moment. Kind of as a dual purpose on trail. This is my alcohol stove, which is the Red Camp alcohol stove. It's loaded up with some alcohol so we can get some water boiling here in just a moment. And this is the Evernew pot stand that I use with it. Titanium as well, very lightweight. Like I said, we'll weigh all this out real quick here in just a moment so you can see what everything weighs. And of course I do have my hot lips that goes on the side of the pot. They're silicone, so you know you don't burn yourself when you take a drink of hot water. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and weigh each individual piece. We'll start with the pot itself. Comes out to 60 grams. The lid is 16 grams. The windscreen is 8 grams. Go with the clippers next. This is a little bit heavier piece, but it does serve a dual purpose. It's 47 grams. The BIC lighter is 11 grams. The hot lips are just 3 grams. The Evernew stand is 13 grams. The little towel that I use is 10 grams. The stove is 108 grams. And we'll go ahead and count the hair ties as well. And they are just 3 grams. Altogether, that actually adds up to, if my math's correct, 280 grams, which is just under 10 ounces. So we'll take a little bit more in-depth look at the system here itself. First, the pot. This is the Toaks 650, like I said. It's really awesome. The top, it does have this tab that locks into place. You see the notch right here. That keeps the tab from being too hot when you need to lift the lid to look at your water, see if it's boiling or whatever. It does have drain spouts here, as well as, you know, if there's steam, it lets the steam come up so this doesn't like blow off or come off or, you know, cause problems. That's kind of nice where there's 3 of them. Some pots only have 1, so that's pretty neat. Now, if you're looking online to buy this particular pot, it is the light version. They do have a heavier version that's quite a little bit more difference in grams as far as weights. Does have the markings inside, both milliliters on one side and ounces on the other side. So this definitely will do 2 cups of water, no problem, because 16 ounces is right here. It's a pretty nice pot. I've been using it for a while. Now we'll go ahead and look at the stove. This is the Red Camp, if you can see right there, alcohol stove. It's a little bit heavier than some models, but it's basically a Trangia knockoff, if you've ever heard of that brand. The thing I like about this is it does have this cap here that can be used as a dampening cap to stop the fuel from burning. You basically smother it, and it also lifts up, and you can actually use it as a simmering ring. Say if you're wanting to cook, I've actually cooked eggs on this directly on a skillet. Works really well for that. It's kind of neat. Now this is another neat feature of this one. This is the stove itself. It has a screw on top. Let me get it loose here. I had it pretty tight. And you can store fuel directly in here, and there is an O-ring in the cap. The only thing I would have to say is when you have this lit, you need to let it cool down a good bit before you put this cap on here, because it will warp that cap and this becomes basically non-waterproof, and you have to replace that O-ring in there. But that's the stove, so that's kind of neat. And really the other stuff is kind of self-explanatory. You know, you've got your clippers. Like I said, I'll show you what that's for here in just a moment once I boil some water. You have the Evernew titanium stand, which basically is just a cross beam that sits like this. Well, I'll show you how that's set up once I actually start to boil some water. And then everything else, you know, you've got your basic windscreen, the towel, like I said, just to dry stuff off, and the hot lips, and the BIC lighter. So I'll go ahead and set this up as I'm going to boil a cup of water, which I am, and show you what it actually looks like in action. Now you can light the stove itself directly with the lighter, you know, like this. You do get blow up though, and you can scorch your fingers if you're not careful. So you can either use a long stem match, you can actually use a fire still. It will light that down in there as well. What I tend to do is just get me a little branch like this, get it on fire, poof, and it's lit. And you can immediately feel the heat, so that's kind of cool. Then I take my little stand, set directly on there. It fits perfect, which is really awesome. And do not have my water in here. Go ahead and pour some water. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 cups. I won't need the full 2 cups, but we want to kind of just get an idea on how long it may take to do 2 cups of water. So we'll set this on here. You can see I got it filled up to the 2 cups there, and we'll put the lid on it. And kind of move this stuff out of the way. And put the windshield around it. So there you go, that's the full setup. It is lit. I don't know if you can really see it on camera in there, but it is lit. So we're going to take a look. I'll get a time going on this and see how long it does take to boil. So we are setting at roughly about 4 minutes, 45 seconds. If you notice, it's starting to warm up in there. There's actually bubbles starting to raise to the top. So we're getting close to a boil here. Okay guys, we're coming up on the 7.5 minute mark of time. Like I said, I'm going to add about 30 seconds to it, so we'll say about 8 minutes right now. And I think we're about to boil. If you notice, there's a lot of bubbles coming to the top there. I normally don't boil 2 cups of water. I've never really had to use that unless I've actually had a specific meal that called for that. 10 ounces or less. Normally do my dehydrated meals that I make my own. And of course, you know, 10 to 12 ounces of water for a cup of tea works just fine. So coming up on that 8.5 minute mark, and yes, we have a rolling boil, roughly 8.5 minutes, guys. So between 8 and 8.5 minutes. Let's stop this, and we'll get this pot off here. Like I said, I do have the towel there that doubles as a pot holder, because yeah, they're not hot, but they do sometimes get hot depending on the way the wind's blowing. And we're going to move the windscreen. So of course that stand is extremely hot, so that's where these come in. I come down in here, just grip it like that and lift it off. And I normally put that on the ground. That won't take long to cool. And of course, there's quite a bit of fuel still down in there, so what we will do, we'll cap that off. And yes, the flame's out, and you see there's that much fuel left in there. That was 2 ounces of fuel, so it used maybe an ounce or so of fuel to do 2 cups of water, which is done. And we'll show you another little component of my system. Drop my tea bag in there to go ahead and get it going. And then of course, Me being right-handed, I will put my hot lips over here. Now this pot is extremely warm. You will scorch your lips on it. That's what this is for. This is basically just a piece of rubber, silicone that is formed to shape these particular pots that have the lip, and it doesn't get hot, so you can actually take a drink without burning your lips. I find that really great, especially in the winter when I'm wanting to drink that hot liquid pretty much right away. And to just show you something interesting, my tea has not even fully steeped yet, and I can already touch these. Not even hot at all. This titanium stand definitely cools off very, very quickly. Now, as far as this goes, like I said, I'm still letting this cool off really good. I can touch it, but it's still warm because I just don't want to warp my O-ring. Like I said, just another reminder on that because I've done that before and had to replace that O-ring. Okay, I believe this is cooled off enough. It's not even warm to the touch now. So what you would do, you just cap it off, screw this on really tight, and of course, put this on, boom. And that's ready to be put away. It's pretty good. So my tea's done, guys. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy this and enjoy the rest of the afternoon out here. Just wanted to give you an overview of the cook system I'm using. I hope you found it useful, maybe informative, and maybe help you decide on some of the things you may be looking for in a cook system for yourself when you're in the backcountry. You know, everything is fluid when you're backpacking. This may not be the system I'm using 2 years from now, but right now this is the one I'm enjoying. And I literally have used this one for about a year now, so it's really awesome. The only new addition I've added would be the titanium stand from Evernew. I was looking for something a little bit lighter, and that worked great. If you do have a question about what type of fuel I use, this is what I actually use. It's the Yellow Bottle Heat. You can use denatured alcohol as well, but for the cost difference, this is what I choose because it gets the job done. The denatured alcohol probably would heat faster if you're looking for a little bit more efficiency, but for me, this works just fine. So guys, if you've enjoyed the video and you've liked it, definitely like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions about the system, anything that you would suggest, or if you're looking to maybe view some of the cook systems that I have other than this one, my personal preference, because Jenny has her own cook system, Alex has her own cook system, and I have 2 or 3 others that I've built different ways that I've tried throughout the years. You know, backpacking is an evolution of character as well as equipment. Check out our Instagram and Facebook. That's pretty awesome. Good place to find some pictures and some announcements. Got some trips coming up. Gonna have plenty of pictures from those shortly. And like I said, guys, if you've enjoyed the video, you know, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. I'm here for you guys. Like I said, you know, Jack basically requested this video for his upcoming trip. I basically shot it next day. So if you guys have any questions, I can definitely, you know, try to shoot a video, or if nothing else, at least get an answer out to you in the comments. But guys, for now, enjoy my coffee. I will see you in the next video on the trail. Always remember to live your grand adventure to the fullest. Thank you for watching. Take care. Good stuff.